All right, everybody. Aloha Friday Live. We are excited about this particular live. Weba Martello, thank you. Cello, my brother. All those that are joining me in, whether you are in LinkedIn, YouTube, Parade Deck, let us know where you're tuning in from. And thank you for joining us. Today we have a special guest. Massiel Villanueva is going to be talking about her product. This is going to be all about her, and I'll give you the background on that here soon. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this afternoon as we go into Aloha Friday. Masi,
Hi,
welcome to
thank
Aloha
you so
Friday.
much. Thank you.
I tell you, and I'll give you the little backstory for everybody that's joining us, in whether you're on either platforms. But there is a product that I came in contact with when I went to the Veterans Business Summit here in Orlando. And, you see all kinds of people stand, they have their tables, they got their businesses, small businesses, and, you get their products. But I saw Maciel on a table, said hi, went in. It was like everybody was, they were playing the gong. Hey, everybody get in there and sit down. So didn't have time to actually meet her in person. So anyway, we go through the summit. I'm on my way out because I had to go pick up my daughter. So on the way out, I say bye, and that was it. I got to the house. Everything was good. Got the munchies. So I said, I'm taking all these things out of the bag, and here is this little packet. It said granola. I said, okay, well, I'm hungry. So let me pop this open. And I was telling Masi before all of this live piece, the first thing I noticed was, here we go, open this up, that the colors in this product were vibrant. And I said, whoa, that's a first sign of something good, right? And then I said, okay, well, that looks great. Let me pop it in my mouth. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Probably the only time I've had granola from a package as fresh and as great tasting as that one. So, Masi, I'm not going to take no more of this time. I just wanted to say that, right? Because a lot of times, folks, you're out there and you come across a small business or a product from a small business, and it was the best thing you ever had, yet we don't say it. And so I don't want to be one of those that comes across something like I did and not give you the opportunity. Masi, we're going to be talking about unity in food, family, community. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about you, how you get to this thing, and we'll get into the conversation.
Awesome. Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much, Enrique, for having me here. That's an amazing introduction. The hype of the granola, just to show you, this is the granola, our cereal. And we also have bars and bites. And just a little bit of back end how I started the company. I started the company out of necessity. I am a mom of three beautiful kids, four right now with a blended family. And my youngest, when he was a couple of months old, he got really, really sick. And I started to figure out, going to doctors, trying to find what exactly was going on. And just going into different medical fields, I realized that a lot of the doctors didn't know what was happening. So I recruited what I knew what to do best. With a background in culinary arts, I decided to create healthier options for my son and start cooking a lot of the stuff from scratch, to the point that I was making almond milk at 4 o'clock in the morning from scratch. Long story short, my son was diagnosed with a immune deficiency, and being realizing that I didn't know exactly how to handle that, I recruited into becoming a yoga instructor. And becoming a yoga instructor, I wanted to serve our community. I wanted to serve our moms, our health enthusiasts. And during my yoga training, I came up with this diet that needed to be restricted with anything that had animal products, no alcohol, no caffeine, no gluten, no sugar, no soy. So I spent hours and countless of hours trying to find a snack that I could actually would be able to eat. With a such a strict diet, it was really really hard. So I decided that instead of continue looking, I had the answers in my back pocket, and I decided to put on my thinking hat. And I came up with a granola recipe. I tweaked it around, and I came up with what we call today UJ. And what I soon realized that my son, my kids were eating my granola, and everybody around us, they were knocking on my door saying, "Hey, can we have some granola?" And that's when I decided that why not create a company. So in UJ Granola, we believe in family, community, unity, and it all comes into one. It's all filled in one delicious 7 different seeds and nuts, so you can sit down with your family, enjoy a delicious bowl of granola without having to sacrifice your needs, your eating habits, or eating necessities and taste.
I tell you that what's amazing about products like these that come out of a pain point for the family is that there are others that are going through the same issues, right? Before we get into that, folks, thank you. Quincy, Crystal, Cello. I know there's others in there. Madhu and let me see. I'm going through Maggie. Matt, thank you so much for joining us from the different platforms. We really appreciate you joining us today. And we definitely hope that by the end of this, you'll go and get you some of this because I know I am. But Masi, you talk about your family, you talk about a pain point at home and the idea of well you had a background and I'll tell you if you have backgrounds don't cut yourself short, use those things to your benefit. That's my leadership plug for the day. Use that because you never know what will come out of your exploration of the talents and gifts you already have. So you used your background, you saw a need, you created this product that now has grown outside of your house, right?
Yeah. Yes. Ground outside my house, commercial kitchens, and in people's hands with a
It,
beautiful branding.
yeah, no, the branding is eye catching. I'll tell you that. And I teach some of that stuff myself. So the very first thing is that I noticed that the colors drew you, right? The colors drew you. But beyond the branding, the product has to, cut the mustard. You can't have a product that is not appealing to the especially in the culinary to the taste. Well, I'll tell you that what's interesting about how you took this thing that was impacting your house, now you made it a family business. And I saw some of the history. Now we'll go through that. How did you see this as a potential for being a product? And then how did you come up with the hey, let me partner with my brother because I usually tell people not to.
Well, my so I knew it was a great product when my kids were eating the product and not telling me about it. When they're sneaking the product and they have like, I had Tupperwares because it was the only thing I was able to eat for 21 days, pretty much. And when my kids were sneaking the Tupperwares or the Ziplocs and I'm going into the gym and people are asking me about the granola, that's when I knew, well, I think I'm into something here. And why not just let God lead the way with faith? And I did. I came in across with my brother because at the moment he was living with me. And as we all know, we have strengths and weaknesses. And a lot of my brother's strengths are my weaknesses. So I knew that coming into partnership with him was going to be a great, amazing adventure. Also comes with a lot of challenges.
Yeah, and I know those full well. We always are looking for ways to ensure that business owners and those with products are basically strategically placed in order for you to grow. And sometimes you're going to have challenges. Whether you start partnering with someone else or you start partnering with family, you just have to be ready to face those. And they can be made, those steps can be taken amicably, right? And everybody's good with the way forward. But sometimes those things go astray. So, a caution to those that are going into business, regardless of whether it's family or not, think about the end before you get into it because it could get treacherous. Now, your kids were loving it, people were loving it. Then you start saying, okay, I'm going to get this out on the street. I know commercializing some a food product is tricky. It's not as easy as people think. So, what were some of those growing pains in terms of you getting that product out into the open?
A lot of the growing pains was me sticking into my the I wasn't willing to sacrifice none of the ingredients. I wanted to make sure that it was gluten free, soy free, and it was organic. And trying to find a supplier distributor with that that's able to supply that for you was really really hard. And then going into like inspection, getting inspected, and getting into a commercial kitchen, and and all these certifications that you have to go through to make sure that you're actually providing a really good, healthy, nutritious product, exactly as you claim for it to be. Not to avoid the conversation of how do you want to present, right? The brand. And at the end of the day, you are the brand. And that was also extremely challenging, but I found a group of graphic designers that literally I was able to dump my idea and sit down with them, and they just created this beautiful brand.
Yeah, they did a good job. As I was going through my bag of goodies, which, hey, by the way, shout out to VEI, Veterans
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship Initiative here out of Orlando, for what they did and put together. And thank you for all those goodies. But one of those was yours, and it was eye catching, right? And we're talking about business and the appealing factor of a brand. You got that pretty much down. So kudos to that group of designers that came up with that. They did a good job in that regard. Now, there's some people, and Quincy's like, hey, thank you, but where can I get this? Right. So I will make sure that the link is part of the show notes. I mean, or the comments before we're ending, so that you can go check that out and partake. So you get your branding, you have this good appeal out on the street. Did you have concerns that, hey, yeah, my family loves it and some of my friends love it, but sometimes people can be nice and
That's
just say,
actually accurate.
oh,
That it is true. That is true.
how we, que bueno, and you're like, and
Yes. Yes, I did. I had a lot of concern, and sometimes I do, right? You go into that limited belief and thinking, okay, is this something good? And then you have to kind of remind yourself that it is. This is something that's really, really good. Not because it's mine, but it's actually delicious. I actually haven't encountered a lot of people that said that's not really good because it still makes so much love, and I think you could taste a lot of the love in the package, as you mentioned before. But when it came to bringing the granola to the market, one of the biggest challenges has been price wise, right? How to create a premium product and keep that premium product, but also let people know that this is something that you want to put it in your pantry and that's affordable with inflation happening in the economy and all the other stuff that's been going on. How do you convince people that my product is much better and healthier for the family than the ones they already have? And that has been one of the biggest challenges, how to switch them from, because a lot of people, they buy food because they're loyal to the brands. They know the brands, they know where they're coming from. So we are a new brand. So we're trying to create the brand awareness. And how can they come and say, okay, this product is worth me spending, $20, and being able to provide it for my kids rather than give them X, Y, and Z. And that has been the biggest challenge for us.
and affordability is always one of those things that you are looking to make, and if it's a good product and you want it in many hands, you gotta weigh in, right? Because there's a cost and there's a gain that has to happen. But glad that you were able to level that out in a way where it's a win-win for everybody, and I hope that you recoup some of those givings through the mass, right? The mass sale of it, and I hope you're ready.
We're ready.
Sometimes,
We're ready. We've been ready.
hey, they've been ready. So I'm telling you, once we get into putting that link into the comments, I hope everybody goes out and checks them out. Corey, thank you for being with us today, joining us now, and all of my parade deck family for supporting. So affordability. Now let's talk about the subject matter for today, unity, right? And unity, and you mentioned unity of food, unity of family and community, and we'll dissect those in each sector. But being Latino, we know that food, it's a unifying factor, right? You put food in
100%. Yeah.
any Latin house, and everybody's coming together. We'll learn how to stop arguing over some food. So tell us, when you was considering that, those three topics, and when you talk about unity, obviously your culinary background facilitated food being first, and then your product. But why choose that first over the others?
Um, do you hear about sancocho? Yes. So you put everything in a pot, right? You mix it together, and then everybody eats from it. And that's where the granola, you put we have 7 different seeds and nuts in it, put it all in one bowl, combined with delicious liquid mixture that was created by myself. And everybody can eat it. If you notice, a lot of the families nowadays, everybody has a nutritious necessity that needs to be considered when they eat, right? Either they have gluten intolerance, a soy intolerance, or they're vegan, or they're vegetarian. So I wanted to make sure that I created something where the whole entire family was able to enjoy. So when they sat down for a movie, they sat down, even the co-workers, everybody was able to do that. That's why we also came up with a niche product. Instead of coming with a different like flavor or a summer season or something, I decided that I wanted to serve the community, an underserved community that has allergies, for allergen free. Because obviously our product does have nuts, and there's a lot of people out there that can't eat tree nuts, which is not the same as peanuts, but it's tree nuts, which is they're pretty allergic. So I wanted to make sure that when families sat down, they were able to enjoy everyone, without having to care about their food necessity.
Yeah, and we, in Puerto Rico, or in a Puerto Rican house, um, this is separate from antojo, right? Because there's
Yes.
some people that just don't eat, like in my house. I'll kill everything that you put in front of me.
Yes.
That's how my mom raised me. You're gonna eat it all, whether you like it or not, and then you don't have to ask for seconds. You're gonna eat it all. In my house, some of my boys don't eat the beans, or this one won't eat that.
Oh, you have to strain it. You have to
Yeah.
strain
Oh yeah,
it.
yeah. It's those are antojo, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Or we call ñoñeria. People don't particularly like this, that, and the other. What you created was something that people don't have to worry about that, right? They don't have to take that into account, and yeah, and that's amazing, because there are, like you said, a lot of folks with particular allergies to this, that, or the other. Now, there may be somebody that has some type of allergy to something, right? And it's in your product, but that you took the masses into account when you're creating this was a wonderful approach, to allow food to be the center of this a whole unity thing, right? That we're discussing today. And let me take a pause there to just talk about, hey, Brian, brother, thank you for being with me. Love you, man. Um, and talk about how leaders need to consider some of these things, even when they're maybe not doing food, but when they're doing anything in leadership. If you're not thinking about unity and you're thinking about some type of division, you've ceased to be a leader. That I'm gonna tell you right now, because if you can't get a group united towards one thing, one mission, one goal, what you're doing is you are the division. And consider that when you talk about your next venture or project. Are you uniting your people? So let's talk about family, because family dynamics in a in any home could be tricky, but in Hispanics we try to make sure that we're united at least on one thing. I talked with my wife, and she recalls Sundays being where her grandmother would say, come hell or high water, I don't care what you're doing. On Sunday, we having dinner or lunch or whatever it may be, and everybody showed up, right? So there's a way of uniting families. Food is one way, but what was the family part for you?
The family part was being able to accommodate my son's necessity. He's gluten intolerant, and he also is allergic to sugar. Even though I know that he's still, he sugars and everything has sugar, so it's been pretty hard to kind of keep that apart. But I knew that I was able to do that for them, and then not sacrifice my other kids in the moment, right? Or myself, my diet needs, because at that moment I was vegan, even though I'm vegetarian. I've been vegetarian for a couple of years, actually vegan and then vegetarian, so I kind of switch back and forth. But making sure that I am also being able to enjoy that with my kids, and not have to separate myself when I have to eat. And it's very important that as a leader, a mom, a parent, um, that you take that time and you don't separate yourself. And I say, watching a movie, there's a bowl of granola that everybody can enjoy it, and they can eat it in the mornings when you want to eat breakfast. You could eat in your parfait, you could eat in your cereal, or you can grab a bar. Let's say if you have to go to your son's soccer tournament. It was made to create that unity where you no longer have to separate yourself because of your food necessities. Either you are vegan, you're gluten free, you're soy free, you are allergic to sugar, or you have an allergy. Even if you don't have anything, you still can enjoy it because it's that good and it tastes that good.
Yeah, you remind me of a topic I've spoken of before, and dealing with leadership. And when you take people into account, it shows how much you care, right? Um, but as you're talking about family, there's a lot of leaders. And Sherry, thank you for joining us all the way from Beverly Hills. I appreciate you being here. Um, I remember my daughter saying for a long time, Dad, I don't know what you do. I have no idea what you do. It's like you could tell me you're a spy, and I'd be like, yeah, that's probably right. So there's a lot of times that we don't share our journey with our children, and you sharing your journey with your children. Well, first of all, they're the inspiration, right, of
Yes.
this whole journey. But a lot of leaders don't share their journey with their kids, and so you start to alienate yourself, and you think that since I'm providing, they should know. Well, maybe you don't. And to the leaders out there listening, does your family know what you do? And not necessarily family at large, your house. Have you taken the time to get buy-in from your family so that your journey as leaders can become a little better? Because sometimes things happen at work and we can't get someone to support us, and if we come back to the house and we feel like we don't even have support there because we haven't taken the time to involve them in what we do, and a lot of that stuff. So leaders out there, I hope that you have that type of system where you can go home and get the love you need to get you through your next day of work. But if you don't, then maybe it's time to share and brief your kids, right? Brief your kids on what you're doing.
100%. Enrique, as a mom, an entrepreneur, and trying to figure out things, you get really busy, right? And obviously, it's very consuming at the beginning, at the middle, of the end. It's always going. And at the beginning, I remember trying to protect my kids, or the mentality, oh, I'm protecting them, and just I'm doing what I need to do and building a legacy and build, or whatever it is that you're trying to build. And I realized that I would spend a lot of time consumed in the business and not with my kids. And then it came to me, especially I have a girl, and it came to me and I said, why am I not sharing this beautiful experience with her, so they can see what the struggles are, the challenges. And a lot of the times is because we fear that we're doing something wrong, or we want to protect them, but in reality, the more involved that we get them, the more understanding they are. So shifting and pivoting from not keeping them away from it and then involving them has actually changed my whole dynamic in my house, because now they understand that, oh, mommy has a lot of orders, mommy has this, mommy has that, and they see in the process, right, of when it's unraveling and growing. In that process, it builds really strong leaders in them. And I think I want to encourage everybody out there that if your family, like Enrique said, that they don't know exactly what you're doing, expose them to what you do, because you don't know what type of strong leaders you're actually going to get from just telling them. And it's how understanding and how loving a lot of the times is the miscommunication that keeps them alienated and apart from that.
And the more they understand of what you're going through, you'll realize that they really do care. And sometimes
Yeah.
they are the rescuers, right? The kids. But we don't give too much credence or value to the role that they play in our lives. And I love involving my kids as much as I can, but I still have a lot of work to do myself in that area, right? So just a reminder to me, and a reminder to all of us, that there's some value in those children, and they can get you on the right. I've had a lot of times my son, which is 15, going on 16 here soon, and he'll come and he say, "Hey, have you considered this? Hey, did you look at that?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I didn't even know that." They're like, "Yeah, but especially like YouTube and things of that nature. Hey, yeah, if you do this, if you do that." And so, if anyone has followed me on YouTube on DTLW podcast, there's been a huge change in my thumbnails. Well, that's courtesy my son, right? It wasn't me; it was him, and so they can help out in those areas, and we should give them the liberty to do so. All right, so community, community is a big thing. I'm a big community proponent. I like to expand communities. Talking about communities on LinkedIn, something's going on. I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced this, but I got this message from LinkedIn that said, "Hey, we're going through your stuff, and there's a bunch of accounts we're about to delete." And it took my it took my followership and dipped it way down. Don't know why, but whatever the case, community's big. Hey, Tim, talking about community. Thank you, brother, for joining us today. So when you're talking about a product like yours that you could easily just keep at home or just share between family and friends, but now you've gone off the deep end, you want the whole thing, you want everybody to get a hold of this. And this is
Yes,
why
everybody,
we are
schools.
here today, to get this product in front of a community. Now, it, what are you looking for in that attempt, outside of just everybody buy it, right? But what are you trying to create in the in the stance of community?
I'm trying to create unity and also healthier options, snacks to maintain our community engaged. And I believe that you are what you eat, right? And if you're eating and you're consuming products that are not enhancing your focus and your awareness and are helping you advance, and obviously you're part of the drip. You're part of that community. So each one of us gathered together and being able to do it together, magic happens. And for me, being able to provide a product and be part of that change, where I'm able to give something that is delicious, is healthier, and I know it's going to help um, each person that comes across it, like you said before, you had the munchies and you needed to eat something and you just grabbed it and it made you feel good. It's so delicious that it doesn't, the sugar that's in it doesn't crash you, and it continues going and it holds you until the next meal. And for me that's important. And when you grab a group of people that are in a gathering, either for a meeting or they're gathering for school, or they're gathering for an event or whatever that is, and you provide them with something healthier, you know that their health inside is going to maintain very leveled. And for me, that's what's important.
And as a community, once you do get your opportunity to order some of this, you will see exactly what I've been talking about earlier on as we started this show. I felt at home. How about that? So that's how I felt. I felt like sitting down and enjoying this thing. Although I could have had a second one, I might have to talk to VEI about that. But but
Awesome.
but yeah. So community is such an important factor in any endeavor, where whether you're at a work site and you have a team, right, a community of workers together, or you're working at an actual community event where there are more, maybe it's a city, maybe it's an event like that, or it's social, right? Social. I just talked about and I was fortunate um, for the followers that I have on LinkedIn primarily, but around the other social media platforms. We build communities, right? Brian Schulman, um, he has a huge community that he allowed me to be part of. Andrew Appleton, a huge community in Parade Deck that he allowed me, and it's a being allowed to be part of a group. And so I thank all of those that have allowed me to become part of their community. But this is where the power of community becomes a reality. When you have an opportunity to share something like this, a product that, meant something to me at the time. Obviously, you're a small business owner trying to get this product out, and there are people listening on all the platforms that are going live now. So, as a business owner, what message would you like to relay to the people listening right now as you're developing this business, as you are enlarging its reach and impact? What would you like for them to take away from you, your company, and your product?
So I would like for them to take away that we are not just a granola. We're not just a snack. We are a catalyst for union, connections, and building really healthy, strong relationships. And in UG Granola, we believe that you are what you eat. And it's important that we serve ourselves as a community, and we help and we continue our generations as they continue to evolve into a more healthier, more conscious, and more aware society. And we are a woman owned small business. And if you guys feel like you want to be enlightened with something delicious in home, go to yujgranola.shop.
And I actually have put that as part of the comments. So look for that in the comment section, and you can have that link readily for you. Maciel, it has been such a great opportunity and honor to talk to you today over this product, because I know it will not only enlighten people, but it will enrich them physically. And I hope that all of you listening will take the opportunity to at least try that once. I'll tell you that if you're like me, you're gonna have to try it twice, three times, four times, and make it probably part of
We
your
have a
household.
subscription, or Enrique. Now we have a
See?
subscription. Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. So now let's talk about that. Let's talk about your where to go get this, and I've already put that on there. But tell us a little bit about your offerings within that site.
Yes, so now we are offering subscriptions. Another vertical that we want to offer is subscriptions for corporations to provide it for employees. We've noticed that a lot of employees are suffering from fogginess or tiredness, especially after a big meal, or they want a healthier snack. So we were able to accommodate that, so we can provide that healthier option for the employees as well. We wanted to give it to everybody that's out there. I would love to give it for free, but unfortunately, I have to make money. But I understand the need is out there, and the more that we can support and help each other and provide healthier options, so we can become our better selves.
Well,
So
you
sign up for
bring
the
up a yeah, you bring up a good point, folks. If you have a corporate setting, if you are business owners, you have people coming in. This is a good option for the things that normally are sitting around your office. And I've gotten into conversations like this about what do you provide? What do you provide a group of people coming together? Now, there are a lot of companies now reverting back to, hey, everybody has to come in to the office. You know that the climate is not as healthy as it used to be, right? Because the COVID pandemic provided two things. Either you thought about your health enough to get in shape, or you forgot about it, sat around and got out of shape. So either way, you got a health issue, right? There's something going on. And so a lot of people started bringing in folks and saying, oh my goodness, what happened? Right? Oh, this person got in shape, this one did not. So it's now an issue of the company. Not, in terms of you making people getting healthy, but now what are you offering, right? What are you offering your complement, your group, your teams as an
Right.
alternative to the many things that usually are like Chick-fil-A and donuts and all kinds of soda and drinks and high sugar items, when you can have something that you can provide that will enhance them physically. So something to consider if you do have a corporate setting, or maybe something, it's not your company, but maybe you want to introduce it. That would be a great thing for you to share that with them. Now, as we come to a close, anything that you would like to share concerning leadership or your product that you have now?
No, I think that you covered most of it. And just to say, just to close with your previous comment, as employers, we want to make sure that our employees are taken care of. And one way is by being able to provide them. It doesn't have to be you, Jay, but it's letting them know that you care in different ways. And sometimes it might not come across in food, but if you're out there and you have really good employees, take care of them, nurture them, love them. And that's what leadership is all about. Being able to nurture, connect, love them, and create those really strong relationships with people that has been lost, among all of us.
Absolutely, folks. If you are interested in being a leader for any long time, you have to revert to the thinking of how can I be an asset to my team? How can I be an asset to these workers that are coming in day in, day out? And how can I become that light for their future? It's not only today, it's for the future.
100%.
And Maciel, it's been a pleasure having this time, sharing this time with you folks. Thank you for joining from any of the platforms that you came in. I appreciate you joining us today. A couple of reminders this month. I've taken out to highlight Latino and Latinas leaders from all places take a look at those every day. 8 o'clock in the morning, I post and highlight 5 more leaders that are doing great things for our community and our state. A second thing is DTLW podcast. We're looking to get to our 500 milestone on YouTube. If you go to YouTube at DTLW podcast, you'll find the show and all of the videos. Plenty of leaders sharing their insight there. And so we would appreciate your support in that regard. But today we've been talking about unity in food, family, and community with Massiel. Thank you so much, folks. We will see each other next week with another great leader, service provider. So be with us next week on Aloha Friday Live. Mahalo, everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you next week.